Okay, my mic was off. Hello now. Good evening. I'm walking the Blue Lock drip today. I hope everything is fine with the music as always. Good evening, Phoenix. Good evening, Fridgy. It's Fridgy, correct? How are we today, chat? And good evening, Jade. Good evening, Colson. How are you guys? So andiamo. Yeah. For those who didn't know, last week, from Wednesday to Sunday, I was in North America, in New Orleans to be precise, to play a very big VGC tournament. A tournament with 1,129 players called North American International Championships. And I wanted to talk about my experience in America. I also tweeted that I almost died again. And unfortunately, it is true. I'm not over exaggerating. So I just need to know, like, should I talk about the tournament run first, about my team, or should I talk about like what happened outside of like the tournament itself, like with my health, what I did and stuff like that. But yeah, the funny part about the tournament is that there was no American player in top 8. Like top 8 consisted of like 5 Europeans, 2 Japanese players and 1 Brazilian player, which is pretty funny. But yeah, let's see. Also, I cannot stream for that long today. I can stream for like 2.5 hours, which is still fine. Also, today, I thought I could do it on stream, but I just couldn't wait. I unboxed my Switch 2. I got the Mario Kart bundle, so maybe we will have some Mario Kart action soon as well. Gotta be the best there as well, right? But yeah, so I guess I will just talk about the team for now. So as you can see, this team is pretty similar to the team I used at Utrecht, the special event that I was able to win. Let me show the Utrecht team. You might be asking, why are there no EVs? The reason for that is that I might play the Victory Road tournament this weekend, and if I play it this weekend, I might use this team, and I really want to win a Victory Road tournament once, and I think I can do it with this team, and that's why I'm not revealing the spreads. I might release the spreads after the VR tournament, because for Worlds I already have a different plan. Like, I already know which restricteds I want to use. It's gotta be one of them, either Kelly or Maridon, but not both. But yeah, this was my Utrecht team. I made a whole team report on my Utrecht team. And as you can see, 5 of the Pokemon are similar, but like the sets are completely different. Like Incineroar, different Terra, Urshifu from Choice Band to Focus Sash, Landorus from Terra Poison to Terra Steel, Maridon from Choice Specs to Choice Scarf. There's an Amoonguss instead of Grimmsnarl, and instead of Leech Seed Kelly, we have like Clear Amulet Terra Fire Kelly. Completely different team. It's not the same team. It might look the same, it is not the same. And the funny part about it is that I wanted to use Weather at first, but I just could not make it work. And then Ibrahim Maruf, my best friend, and I had a team in the builder, which is pretty funny. Like, we had these exact 6 from Eric Rios in the builder. We had Cover Cloak, Ogapon, AV, Rilla, Sash, Pow, Zama, Lefty's Volcarona, not Electric Seed, but Lefty's Volcarona, and Choice Specs Maridon instead of Choice Scarf. But it's pretty funny that like the 6 we also wanted to use at first were able to go top 4 as well. Like slightly different sets, of course, but that over the Cover Cloak Ogapon, we had this like idea for like 3 weeks. Even before the last GC, we were thinking about going with Cover Cloak Ogapon. So I'm pretty happy that like our calls were able to perform pretty well in the tournament regardless. I'm super new to competitive Pokemon. Your EV spreads always look so crazy to me. Glad to hear that, Colson. I can also say, I know again, like I made 2 videos, then I dipped again. The reason for that is like exams coming up and NAIC and stuff. But I promise from this next week, you will get 2 videos per week. Just 2. Like one ultimate guide for Regulation I. Thank you Nyanya Muro for the follow. So one ultimate guide video per week and one I played against video per week. That is set in stone. But yeah, we were thinking about like using that kind of composition, but in the end, like, I thought that Volcarona is broken. Did you see the match between Rios and Chichiot? Did you see how easy it was? Like, he just matchup farmed him. And, like, this kind of team matchup farms so much. And hi, David, how you doing? I saw your tweet. Really wholesome tweet. I really appreciate the shout out. Anyways, so we were building this team in the end because we thought, okay, Urshifu is pretty good. Urshifu is really good into Terrapagos stuff. Sash Urshifu is also really good into rain stuff. So we were like, okay, Sash Urshifu is good. And then Cleamu Kelly Ice is also good because people are sleeping a little bit on it. And then we paired it with like Instant Amoonguss is obviously good as well. And Landorus gives us a very good Miraidon matchup because Terra Steel Landorus matches up very nicely into Miraidon stuff. And then Choice Scarf Miraidon gives us a form of speed control because our fastest Pokemon is Landorus. Like Landorus and Urshifu are not super slow, but you still want to have something that is faster than like 110 base speed Pokemon. Also, is my stream lagging? I hope it is not, because I really hope it just isn't. Because I have a stream on my second screen and it lagged for a little bit. My call before NAIC was also that Volcarona is the best mon in the meta. Best mon is maybe a little too much, but it is certainly good. Volcarona was the best one since it came out, that's cap. Also, good evening, Maxime. But yeah, we just hope that everything works just fine. And that's how we ended up on this team. Like, it's just Pokemon that are made for certain matchups only. Like, this Landorus is for Miraidon only. This Shifu is for Kyogre and Terrapagos only. Like, that's how I go into team building. I go for Pokemon that are very good in certain matchups. Even if they are terrible in others, it's fine as long as I have 3 or 2 to 3 or maybe even 4 good Pokemon in the other matchups. And that's how you should team build as well. That's my secret. I just told you my secret. How fast is your Incin? Hi Isio, I cannot tell you that now because I said it before. I might use that team in the Victory Road tournament this weekend. What's the opposite of Povero, Fedecampo? Which Fedecampo? I think Povero is like... I don't know. I think it's like which Fedecampo? Your opinion on the PT ladder incident? I don't know what happened. I just know, like, I made my tweet, and after that, the site got shut down. I don't exactly know what happened, and I don't really care. Yeah, like, Povero is poor, and then which, I don't know. I love team building until I remember Spring 4. Fair enough, Renix. I know that it means poor Fedecampo, but Slaney asked what's the opposite. And I was telling what the opposite was. Anyways, that's how we ended up on this team. And then we played the tournament, right? And I finished 43rd. Good thing we kept the source for Worlds. Right. And yeah, 43rd. After I started 6-0, I lost round 7 and round 8, won the next 3 rounds, and lost the last one. And the cool part is I have 3 stream matches I can present to you. Like, I played against Teotime Maso on side stream, I played against Masayoshi Kuro on the main stream, and I played against Gabriel Gadi on the main stream. Do you intend to bring a similar team to Worlds? Not really. I might use one of the restricteds, as I said before, but not both together again. And hi Vitalo, how are you doing? So I will just talk about the tournament, and what happened outside of the tournament, I will talk about it right after. So round 1, I play against Andy Shepard, and Andy Shepard is just using the team from Joey Pokeaim, and the team is a little outdated. It's 4 attacks, Iron Threads with no protect. It has a lot of like really surprising stuff for like the first tournament in the new meta, but now that we have like we had like some weeks to get practice in, it's just not good anymore. True, Jay, true. I have a really good Quadon team. Send it to me. Now there's more to it, Slaney, there's more to it. But anyways, so in this matchup, so Terrafire Kelly Ice was just really good together with Incineroar and Scarf Miraidon. I just pretty much spammed Glacial Lance. And game 2, turn 1 was pretty interesting because he led with Miraidon Bundle. And I led with Kelly Ice Miraidon, Kelly Ice Landorus. And I was like, okay, I can go for Protect to see what the Miraidon locks itself into, but then he can go for Anqua with Iron Bundle. So I decided to just pop Terra Steel immediately, and I clicked Earth Power into Bundle plus Glacial Lance. He clicked Freeze Dry into my Lando, and Electro Drift or Draco, I don't quite remember what he clicked, into my Ice Rider. I survived, both my Pokemon survived. He didn't Terra the Miraidon, I got a double knockout, and I pretty much won the game after turn 1, which was pretty cool. Game 1 was a little more stressful, but in the end I was also able to win that one, and I had a really good start into the tournament. I think it makes more sense to put my cam to the right side, right? Or maybe to the bottom? Maybe like here? I think that makes more sense. Let me check. If we go back, yeah, this makes more sense. Thank you, Jan, for a follow. Appreciate it. Anyways, in round 2, I play against Mac, and the set against Mac. So I led with Kelly Ice, and Mac decided to lead with Miraidon Whimsicott. So I pretty much just won on lead already. I win game 1 pretty convincingly. And then in game 2, I decide to lead Kelly Ice Miraidon again, okay? Not Kelly Ice Miraidon. Kelly Ice Landorus, okay? Kelly Ice Landorus. And she leads with Hans Kelly Ice, okay? So, Hans Kelly Ice is her lead. And I lead with Kelly Ice Lando. And I'm like, okay, I could go for Protect. I could go for Glacial Lance, switch into Instant, Glacial Lance, Protect. I have a lot of plays. And I decide to click High Horsepower into Hands because there's no way she either goes for Fake Out into my Kelly Ice or she doesn't Terra the Hands, right? It doesn't make sense to Terra Hands in front of my Kelly Ice. And getting the extra bit of damage helps that I can then pick it up with U-turn from Instant plus Glacial Lance. So I decide to switch Lando into my Instant, and I go for High Horsepower into her hands. And what did she do? She goes for Low Kick into my Lando, so she Low Kicks my Instant and goes Terra Grass in front of my Ice Rider. And I was like, are you kidding me? And then in turn 2, I'm like, okay, My most obvious play is to U-turn Hands, put it in Glacial Lance range. So I U-turn Hands and Glacial Lance. But then I was like, okay, maybe it makes more sense to get some extra damage on Kelly Ice. There's no way she can click Protect with Kelly Ice, because if I U-turn Hands and click Glacial Lance, she loses. So I click U-turn into Kelly Ice plus Glacial Lance. She switches Hands into Shifu and protects Kelly. And I'm like, okay, what the actual fuck is going on? Because if I just U-turn the hand slot, I get Miraidon in. If I have Miraidon, I did not bring Miraidon. I bought Urshifu as my 4th Pokemon instead. But if I had Miraidon, next turn I can Volt Switch off the Urshifu and click Glacial Lance. She cannot switch into Miraidon. She cannot switch into Iron Hands. So I get a free KO. And like, I was so mad that her plays worked because like, she outplayed me. I cannot deny that she outplayed me. But from my perspective, her plays did not make any sense. And I find myself in the position where I have to get a double tagged with my Urshifu because she broke my Sash and she had Miraidon on the field with Dazzling Gleam. And if I get the double protect, I win the game, and I got the double protect. Undeserved as hell because she outplayed me and I got lucky, but I was able to win game 2 as well. And hi Ratschke, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, I got hella outplayed by like turns that made no sense to me. Every single one, Slaney. Like, the stream games were not great. And hi Kowalski, how are you doing? So I was able to win round 2, but I realized that my play, like, my thoughts were correct, but my play should have been safer. And hi Wim, how you doing? How did you finish? Did you cut in the end? I think you did. Did you cut? I think you... wait. Did you cut in the end? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I do not know how you performed in the end. 17th. Congrats on the cut. I know you wish to go further, right? But still, really great performance. And it's also a good confident push going into Worlds. So yeah, happy for you. Doesn't cut to high horsepower. No, I hate it. You hate to see it. But yeah, then round 3 I have to play against Masayoshi Kuro, and we can react to that set because it was a really good set. Because I feel like starting in round 3 I started to play good, because round 1 and round 2 I played very fast. I could have definitely played those games better. But I was able to have a stream appearance. Why can high horsepower even miss? Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's at 95 base power move with no additional effect. It's not like super broken or anything. But to be fair, are there any like 95 base power moves which are like, oh my god, ads? Like, are there any like normal moves, not legendary moves, that have 95 base power or more without a secondary effect outside of Earthquake with a negative like secondary effect? I can't think of one. But yeah, so round 3 I was able to go on stream against a regional champion. For those who didn't know, Masayoshi Kuro used a certain team to win the Melbourne regionals with. Here, Masayoshi Kuro used Calyrex Shadow Weezing with AV Walking Wake, Chiyu, Goggles Instant, and Koraidon. And going into the stream match, we didn't know each other's teams, but I thought, okay, surely he's using something similar to this. And in the end, he did. He changed Incineroar to Bubonnet, but the set on Bubonnet is something crazy. Just make it 90-100. That would be fair, yeah. True, like Ice Beam, Moonblast is a perfect example. Moonblast is actually broken. 95 base power, 30% special attack drop is kinda crazy. Also for the stream match, I gotta put my cam on the top right. But before I do that, I will show you his team. And look at the Bubonnet item, okay? Look at the Bubonnet item! This is so cringe. It's Bright Powder Bubonnet. Bright Powder Bubonnet. Actually, my cam has to be on the top left. But yeah, Bright Powder Bubonnet. You hate to see it. But other than that, it's just AV Wake, Chiyu with Scarf, no Overheat, notably enough, Encore Kelly Shadow, Taunt Wheezing with Covered Cloak, so it's pretty much impossible to get the Trick Room up with my Ice Rider, because I have no Pokemon that can one-hit KO Wheezing. I guess I have Lando, but Lando is always threatened by a one-hit KO from the Koraidon. To be fair, my Lando is only threatened by a one-hit KO if he goes Terra Fire, because as you can see, I lead with Lando Miraidon, because I planned out this scenario already, because as you can see, my Lando is max HP, and or almost max HP, so I knew I would survive a Flare Blitz from the Koraidon. So if he wants to one-hit KO Landorus, he has to go Terra Fire. And if he goes Terra Fire, my Miraidon hits the Koraidon harder with Electro Drift, and the Koraidon gets a weakness to Urshifu, which is pretty important, pretty valuable, and that's why I go for this play, because it's super safe. Because usually after Terra Fire Flare Blitz, and after the recoil, the Koraidon should be in range for Terra Electric Electro Drift, even without terrain, without Hard One Engine. Not Hard One Engine. Actually, it's Hard One Engine, right? I almost mixed up Hard One Engine with Quark Drive. Hi, Shio. I am alive at least. I will talk about it in a little bit. And nice to see you again. But yeah, so he Flare Blitzes my Lando, and I'm fine with the trade-off. Obviously, I could have switched Lando to Incin, but I wanted to keep Incin full life for the Kelly Shadow, where that's most certainly waiting in the bag. And here I can go into Incin as well, because Incin could outspeed the Weezing, but I was not sure if Incin outspeeds the Weezing, and that's why I go to Urshifu instead. And now the question is, do I want to Electro Drift Weezing Searching Strikes Koraidon? I don't have to, because Electro Drift KOs the Koraidon. I was thinking about going for Aqua Jet into it as well. But if I go for Aqua Jet, then the Weezing can break the sash on my Urshifu, and that's not great. And I was like pretty sure that Terra Electric Electro Drift knocks out the Koraidon, and Searching Strikes knocks out the Weezing, and that's why I'm pretty fine going for Electro Drift Searching Strikes here. And hi Hems, good evening, nice to see you. I hope you're doing great. And here it's just super safe in my opinion to go for E-Drift Surging, but to my surprise, the Koraidon survives on 1. And that is a little unfortunate, because I lose my pretty important piece. Because I also had the feeling, as you can see, I did not bring Ice Rider, because my game plan was to terrestrialize my Miraidon, and if I terrestrialize Miraidon, that's something I did pretty often, by the way. I pretty often used just one restricted, and I actually used no restricted as well, which is kind of crazy. When I saw that Marco did it on stream, I was like, it should have been me, not him. For those who know, they know. But yeah, in the end, he survived, takes, like, we trade Miraidon with Koraidon, and Surging Strikes is very close to KO Weezing, but it was able to. And now, okay, for those who did not see that stream match, I have Incin, and I already knew that he would probably have Walking Wake Shadow Rider in the end. And for a very long time, I thought, okay, I have to click Fake Out into Walking Wake plus Close Combat, but even if I critical hit Close Combat, or if Close Combat Fake Out is enough to KO Walking Wake, I would still lose the game if I don't get a double tagged with Urshifu. Because let's say Fake Out CC knocks out Wake. Next turn he can Anchor my Instant. And I can go for Searching Strikes, but it's not enough to KO Shadow Rider, obviously. And then he can go for Astral Barrage. I have to click Detect with Urshifu. I would be anchored one more turn. I can go for a double Detect, because then I can just go for Knock-Off Searching Strikes. But if my double Detect fails, I die to Astral Barrage, then he can Anchor my Instant again, and I just lose because he just has Anchor, Astral Barrage, Anchor, Astral Barrage, you know? It's not winnable. So in the end, I'm like, okay, it's AV Walking Wake and just Sash Shadow Rider. And I'm AV Instant. Like, Instant is the best Pokemon ever made, right? So that's why we are going to watch an ad now. So I thought, okay, Fake Out CC probably is not the correct play. Like, I've played the entire game out in my head. So I go for... I go for Knock-Off CC instead. And Hydro Steam goes into Instant, and Astral Barrage goes off as well. And as you can see, the Astral Barrage only did 30 HP. And the interesting thing about this turn is that Masao Yoshi could have also clicked... Hydro Steam into my Urshifu, because I feel like there is a 0% chance that I protect my Urshifu. If I go for Protect Urshifu, knock off into Shadow Rider, I would win if he goes for Hydro Steam into Ursh, but I think there were only two plays, like Fake Out CC or doubling the Walking Wake. So I was a little not surprised, but do you understand why he could have clicked Hydro Steam into Ursh? Instead I go for CC knockoff, and I'm pretty sure based on this close combat damage that this knockoff crit did not matter. I'm like 99% sure that this knockoff crit did not matter. And now I go for knockoff detect. It doesn't matter. I could also just go for Aqua Jet first. But no, it's the same outcome. I just wanted to go for detect because why not? And Astral Barrage goes off, and do I survive? I do survive. It was very close in the end, but I was able to win game 1 because I made a very clever play with not going for Fake Out CC, but going for CC knockoff instead. And I was able to win game 1 in a very, 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 very close game. And then I was thinking, okay, game 2, do I want to change things up? Because his Koraidon is bulkier than I anticipated. So my game plan with Terra Electric Miraidon does not work as well. It could also be a roll, so I could also try it again. Also, if I don't Terra my Miraidon, I would take the Flare Blitz, but I would also take more damage from the Play Rough, right? So in the end, it comes down to very close things, like do I KO Koraidon, does he KO my Instant? And it was a little too close for me, and that's why I decided to change things. Especially if his game plan is the same with leading. I think he always has to lead Weezing, because if he doesn't lead Weezing, the Miraidon is just a very, very, very big problem for him. If he leads Bubonnet without Weezing, like he has to lead Weezing in every scenario just to shut down Miraidon. But if he leads Weezing, Terra Fire Calyrex looks amazing in the lead, because his only way to hit Calyrex is Walking Wake. And that's why I decide to lead Calyrex this time around. And we see that he leads with Weezing Koraidon again. And I again was like, okay, he can only knock out my Landorus if he goes Terra Fire, and he has to go Terra Fire because I also threaten a Glacial Lance knockout. And I decide to not use my Terra on the Ice Rider because, again, I can use Terra Electric on my Miraidon to get the knockouts I want, and if he goes for Flare Blitz into my Ice Rider, it's fine because then my Landorus goes crazy. And if he goes for Willow, I don't think that he goes for Willow because that means he would give me a free Trick Room, and if I get Trick Room up, if he brought Walking Wake and Shadow Rider in the back again, he just loses. And as anticipated, he Flare Blitzes my Lando and also goes for the Taunt. But now I got the Glacial Lance damage off that my Miraidon can guaranteed knock out the Koraidon. So that is pretty good. And that's why I go into my Miraidon. My Miraidon is faster. And I was like, so he was at 70% in the last game, and Terra Electric E-Drift did like 68. Would you say that I knock him out if I don't Terra based on the damage I did in the last game? I saw people say Lando did nothing, when in reality yeah, exactly. I force a Terra, and he takes a ton of recoil. So Lando was super important. Would you live Flare Blitz if you Terra'd? With which Pokemon? I'm Terra Steel on my Lando. Do you mean my Miraidon? Or, like, I'm Terra Steel on my Lando and Terra Fire on my Kelly. Game 1, Miraidon. I would have survived, yeah. Actually, I would have taken too much play rough damage, so I would have not survived. Terra is like 1.3 modifier, correct. And Hypatimus. So it is very close. And I decided that I do not want to risk it. And that's why I just go for Terra Electric, Electro Drift, and Glacial. Because Glacial knocks out the Weezing if he decides to not protect with Koraidon, because then it's a single target move. Keep in mind, my Calyrex is still taunted, which isn't great, because I cannot click Protect to reposition myself. So I go for Electro Drift. He does not go for Protect, so I knock out the Koraidon, and he goes for Play Rough. And that is really good, because since he already Terra'd, my Miraidon should not be in range for Walking Wake. But I also do not know what the exact speed interactions are. Is my Miraidon faster than his Walking Wake? Will there be a rental? So B2K, I might play this team in the Victory Road tournament. So, not in this week. And thank you, Nicolo. Appreciate it. Anti-Armo. I would say more often than not it wouldn't kill. Fair enough. But that's why I also Terra'd. Okay, I will drink something. So here we have Walking Wake and Shadow Rider. And he goes for a play that I truly cannot understand. Because my idea was to switch into Instant, survive Hydro Steam Astral Barrage. Then I can fake out the Walking Wake and Electro Drift again. And then he can only Hydro Steam one of my slots. And I can go for Electro Drift U-turn, and then I can go for fake out Trick Room into Glacial Lance. Appreciate it, super. When the Italian passport. I will go to Florence in about a month with my family. And the funny thing, we planned it like 2 months ago that we wanna take a vacation in Florence. But I will also make a tweet asking for like some advice, like what you can do as a family in Florence. But yeah, he goes for Protect with Shadow Rider, which is crazy, but he also clicked Draco. Why did he click Draco instead of Hydro Steam? Can somebody explain why he Draco'd? Because now he's -2, and now I'm not threatened on a knockout. And I can just click U-turn and Electro Drift into the Shadow Rider. Because if I U-turn, next turn I have fake out pressure on the walking wake. Like fake out trick room. Oh, that's cool, Nicolo. No, not yet. Not yet, Bloom. But yeah, so he Dracos again, drops to -4 as I click U-turn. The problem is, I take the Astral Barrage pretty well. I could go for Fake Out Trick Room into Glacial Lance Knockoff, but if he anchors me into Fake Out, I'm in big trouble because I can go for Fake Out Trick Room, yes, but then he reads that, goes for Anchor, and then next turn he can double up my Ice Rider because I think Glacial Lance does not pick up either Pokemon, and then he has Astral Barrage Draco into my Calyrex, and I was not sure if I survive that. And as you can see, I immediately locked in Knockoff plus Trick Room because I thought, okay, I have two plays I can go for. It's either Fake Out Trick Room or I go for Protect, Knock Off into Shadow Rider because he can only knock out my instant if he crits Hydro Steam. So I go for Knock Off to cover if he goes into my instant slot, but even then I lose if he crits. So I feel like I clicked a little too fast again because my best play probably is to just click either Fake Out Trick Room or Protect Knockoff. I feel like Knockoff Trick Room covers the least things. I risk that he doubles my Kelly, but I knew that he was just Focus Sash, and he goes for Hydro Steam, does not crit, and now it's just, does he crit Astral Barrage on my Ice Rider? He does not. And the funny thing is also, based on this roll, he did 134, so a crit would have done 201 HP, and I would have survived with 2 HP, so I would have also survived a critical hit. And that's how I win the game. Would you win if he doubles Kelly? Yeah, as you can see, I survived that pretty comfortably. Like, -4 Draco does not do 70 HP. So I would have still won. And I was pretty confident that I would survive a double up. But I feel like I can still go for Fake Out Trick Room. Because even if he goes for Anchor, next turn I can go for Glacial. And if I survive a double up, I can go for Glacial again. And Fake Out Trick Room covers if he crits instant. And if he does the play he made in the end, I can go for Fake Out Trick Room. Next turn I go for Glacial Lance, knock off into Walking Wake. And then I knock out Walking Wake. Yes, he can go for Astral Barrage, knock out my Calyrex. But then I have my AV instant, 3 turns of Trick Room left against the Shadow Rider. When was NAIC? It was last weekend, actually. But that's how I was able to win game round 3, 2-0 again. So I was 6-0 in games. And in round 4, I played against Braden Clemens. And he had just a very classic Terrapagos team. And I already knew what to do. But he made he did one thing that is like, I hate when people do that. So before the set started, he told me that he was a bad player. And I'm like, come on, don't talk yourself down like that. That's not something... Also, Justin, thank you for a follow 5 minutes ago. That's not something you should do. So, he says he's a bad player. Okay? And thank you, Nicht Evo, for the follow as well. So, you gotta imagine. He has a +2 or +3 Terrapagos on the field. I'm a Smash player and I absolutely hate people when people do this. 100%. Like, he was a nice guy. Like, very, very nice guy. But this one fact really threw me off. Because he had like +2 or +3 Terrapagos and Instant on the field. No Fake Out available. And I had my Sash Urge on the field. His Terrapagos was like 80%, okay? And I was... Subzan, thank you for a follow. So I was like, okay. if you go for Terra Stellar, I could go for Terra Stellar CC and knock out your Terrapagos and you just lose the game. So I am about to click Surging Strikes into his instant, which is at 70%. I don't have to Terra for that. Because I'm like, okay, he has to switch Terrapagos into Amoonguss and Willow my Urshifu to get back into the game. But he said he's a bad player. So does a bad player go for a Terra here with Terrapagos, just hoping that he survives CC because he has multiple core mines up? Like, a bad player would not switch out his his Terrapagos, which has so much setup in, right? So I'm like, okay, he said he's a bad player, so I click Terra Stellar CC. Like, against a good player, I would click Surging Strikes into instant. Like, if he didn't give me the information that he was bad, I would have just clicked Searching into instant. Instead, I click Terra Stellar CC. He switches to Amoonguss, clicks Will-O-Wisp into my Urshifu and wins game 1 because of that. And I was like, dude, what? What? Good evening, Dominic. We can trade later. I hope you had a great week. But it's he threw me off guard. I mean, maybe that's the tactic how you beat good players. But yeah, mind games. Well, in the end, if I go for Searching Strikes into instant and he just goes for Terra Stellar, Terra Starstorm, I'm in quite a bad position because I drop to Sash when he has Amoonguss in and then he can go for Rage Powder Starstorms, right? So in the end, you could say it was just a pure 50 and he won the 50, which is also fair. But like, if you keep in mind that he told me that he was a bad player beforehand. Hi, Federico. I didn't hit you up because I wanted to hit you up on a stream, but you are not live. I know you were live like yesterday, but congratulations on your big win. You deserve it. Phenomenal season. Like, the season, 2 grand challenges win, a regional win, an international win. Really, really well done and happy for you. Oh, let's go, Dominic. Let's freaking go. Psychologische Kriegsführung for real. But yeah, so I lost game 1, but then I knew, okay, game 2 and game 3 are not going to be, like, I should not expect, like, that he plays bad. So I win game 2, 4-0, and game 3 we both make an adjustment. I decided to lead Landorus, and he decided to bring Kelly Shadow. Like, the first 2 games, he brought Instant Amoonguss Rilla Pagos. And I brought Miwai, Kelly, Shifu, Instant. And then in game 3, I bring Lando, and he brings Kelly Shadow. So, more offensive. And I led with Lando, and he fake outed my Kelly Ice because he led with Rilla Pagos. So he kind of was forced to fake out my Kelly, but I just clicked Taunt into the Pagos, and he decided to click Core Mind. The Core Mind didn't go off, and then I just spammed Glacial Lance Earth Power for a few turns, and then cleaned up with Scarf Miraidon because I got the Sash on the Kelly Shadow. Because I had Miraidon and Urshifu in the back, so Electro Drift Aqua Jet was just able to pick it up, and I was able to win game 3. But the set took like, it lasted for 55 minutes or something, because, I mean, you can imagine, Willa Pagos instant, it took quite a while. Oh wow, Jade, that's crazy. Average Terrapagos set for real. But I was able to win 2-1, so I was 8-1 in sets. And thank you, Cool Drift, for follow, really appreciate it. And then in round 5, I play against Ashley, and Ashley has a team that I was also already familiar with. It's the Carry the Ortona team with 2 slight adjustments. It's Terra Water instead of Terra Steel on Juggy, and it's Leech Seed instead of Seed Bomb on the Kelly. And I only made game plans without Juggerless, and she decided to lead Juggerless, and I'm like, oh. So she decided to lead Juggerless, and I led with Urshifu Kelly, and I clicked Terra Stellar CC into Ogre and Glacial, and she just clicked Hurricane into my Urshifu, and gets the confusion, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Because if I hit myself with my Urshifu, she one-hit KOs my Kelly, like she gets a double knockout, I lose the game. I do not hit myself. I knock out the Kyogre. I win game 1 after turn 1. And game 2, I also win pretty convincingly. And that's why Sash Urshifu is the GOAT. People are sleeping on Sash Ursh. Why Incineroar just winning every event? It's instant. Like, what should I say? But I played this set pretty well. 1-2-0. Pretty nice. So I have my win in for day 2 against Michael Zhang. And I also already knew what Michael Zhang was using. Because he was on stream in like round 2, I think. And he has no matchup into Terrafire Ice Rider. And I was able to win 2-0 again. So, yeah. I mean, like, Terrafire Ice Rider, take a look at the team. What should I say? Oh, wow. Yeah, well, the sad thing is, I'm in, like, Italy 1 week later. Yeah, exactly. Since I was high horsepower, the problem was in game 1, he had like 10% Kowaidon and Chestnut without an electric seed. And I was like, okay, I should just click Glacial. But I clicked high horsepower into Kowaidon, and he goes for Protect, Leech Seed. And I'm like, okay, now I go for Glacial. I will not risk it. And he goes for double Protect, Body Press, and he gets the double Protect. Suddenly, I'm in a losing position, because he did not bring Miraidon. He started with like Scovillain, Kowaidon, and brought Chestnut, Clefairy in the back. And then I make a hard read, in the, like, I had Miraidon, and it was kind of crazy because he had Chestnut, Clefairy, and I called him out on protecting Clefairy, so I Electro Drifted Chestnut for 40%, okay? And then next turn I KO the Clefairy, and now I have 30% Miraidon against Chestnut. I go for Electro Drift, he has like 60%, and I knock him out. And we were both like, was it a crit? And it was not a crit. So I low rolled, like, Friend Guard was active, I know, but like 40 to 60, maybe it was closer to 45 to 55. But I Electro Drifted, then I knocked out the Clefairy, and then I was able to KO Chestnut, but I thought I was not able to KO the Chestnut. But in the end I was, so I won game 1 pretty convincingly, and game 2 was a wash, because he brought Miraidon this time instead of Scovillain, and I had Terra Fairy, Amoonguss, Rage Powder, the Draco, and I just clicked Rage Powder, Earth Power, Rage Powder, Earth Power, Rage Powder, Earth Power, because Lando, Amoonguss are the GOATs. Hi Musti, good evening. Do you think the Leech Seed set is washed? It is not, because it also made top 4 again. Bezard made top 16 with it. I think it's still good, but I wanted to try out high horsepower. But yeah, so I was able to beat Michael Zhang pretty convincingly. And I don't want to talk about this set, because you need to know that game 2... Oh, okay. This is so embarrassing to talk about the next 2 sets. Oh, it's so embarrassing. And I like... Some of you already saw my tweet, but in this set, I had, like, I win game 1 4-0, because I knock out the Kelly Shadow early on, and then I had Terrafire Kelly plus Amoonguss against Smeargle, Zamazenta, Rillaboom. I can just spam Glacial, Pollen Puff, and like, if he goes for White Guard, I have Trick Room up, so I can just spam Glacial, Pollen Puff into the Rilla until the Rilla dies. Like, he doesn't do anything, right? So, I win game 1 4-0. Hi, Pokechess. I think I will go for something new for sure, Nicolo. So I win game 1 4-0. And game 2, I should also win, because what happened was that he let Smeargle Kelly Shadow, and I let Miraidon Ice Rider, and I vote switched off the Smeargle and clicked Terrafire Glacial Lens, and he clicked Protect Decorate, so he knocked out I knocked out Smeargle, go +1 attack. I switch into Instant with a Volt Switch, and he has Rilla Kelly Shadow, and I protect my Ice Rider, which is the play because he could double up on my Ice Rider. He goes for Fake Out into my Instant and Astral Barrage. That's a little unfortunate, but fine because I survive the next double up. So what I can do is switch Kelly Ice to Miraidon and U-turn because he clicked Terra Dark in the turn as well. I could U-turn, I toss Miraidon, and then I have Fake Out Trick Room, and since I have Amoonguss in the back again, I win. I cannot lose. What do? I click just Glacial Lance, and I U-turn off the Rillaboom instead of U-turning off the Kelly Shadow, which made no sense at all, because he knocks out my Ice Rider with Astral Barrage Woodhammer, and I don't get damage on the Kelly Shadow, but I got a U-turn off on Rillaboom. And now, I U-turn to Miraidon, and my best play is to switch into Amoonguss, Electro Drift, and switch Amoonguss into Instant so that I have then Fake Out Pressure. What do? I switch Instant, I switch into Instant and switch Instant to Amoonguss, and I Draco the Rillaboom. He hard switches Rillaboom to Zama, and I click Draco, he protects the Shadow Rider, and next turn he switches Zama back into Rillaboom, resets terrain, and clicks Astral Barrage, I lose the game. Like, 3 turns in a row, I go for the worst play possible, and I lose the game. Super upsetting. Like, it's just, I played terrible. I played super terrible. Also, thank you, Cool Drift, CSSS, and Hope Addict for follows, appreciate it. You are not late, Mackenzie. Congrats on the day too, by the way. I have been Musti. I was actually the first player getting the invite, which is pretty funny. I was actually the very first player who got the invite to the World Championships because I was top 4 in last year's Worlds. And good evening, Scormer. So I lose game 2, and I'm like, okay, my matchup is phenomenal. So game 3, I'm going to win. He leads Smeargle Kelly Shadow again, and I'm like, okay, he is not going to click Protect Decorate again, because if I click Volt Switch Trick Room this time, he loses, because next turn I have Glacial Lance Flare Blitz, GG. So I click Electro Drift into Kelly Shadow, and yes, he clicks Fake Out into my Ice Rider. I click Electro Drift, and the Kelly Shadow survives on like 1 HP. Maybe 2, maybe 3. But that's fine. Because as long as he takes Life Orb damage, I like... If Kelly Shadow is dead, as I said, Kelly Ice Amoonguss just win. Like, it's impossible for me to lose. It is literally impossible for me to lose. I have 2 plays I can go for. I go for Electro Drift, switch into Urshifu, because this time I brought Urshifu. Because even if he goes for Follow Me Astral Barrage, he can knock out my Miraidon, he can get the Sash, but he drops to Life Orb, and then I just win with Kelly Ice Amoonguss alone, right? It's impossible. It's completely impossible. I can also just click Electro Drift Protect, because even if he switches, like, if he clicks Protect, switches to Rilla, I can then go for the switch into Shifu again, right? And I won. Like, after the turn 1, I win. What do I click? I click Electro Drift Trick Room. He goes for Follow Me Astral Barrage. My Ice Rider drops to like 10 HP, which puts my Ice Rider into Grassy Glide range from Rillaboom, and suddenly I could lose the game. But now I can just go into Urshifu, click Protect, switch Ice Rider into Amoonguss. But what do I do now? I go into Amoonguss immediately. So I have my very low Ice Rider and my Amoonguss, and he has like the Rilla Smeargle board, and I'm like, okay. My best play, like, I'm still in a winning position. Everything I have to do is Glacial Lance Spore the Smeargle slot, because then next turn, even if he goes for Glide into my Ice Rider, I can go for, like, I can Spore that slot. He either switches into Zama or stays with Smeargle, but then next turn, I have CC Point Puff into Rilla, and I win the game, because then I can Point Puff Smeargle, or and CC Zama, like you understand, right? And also my Amoonguss would in the end 1v1 the Zama because I'm Helmet. So what do? I click Protect with Kelly Ice, try to spore that slot. What does he do? He clicks Fake Out into my Amoonguss, and switches to Zama. So next turn he has just Grassy Glide, Terra Grass Body Press, and I lose the game. If I just click Glacial Lance, I win the game. Because then next turn, he has like Zama Smeargle board. I can just protect my Ice Rider and Point Puff the Smeargle so he doesn't get a Decorate off. Yes, he could fake out my Amoonguss, but then he dies to the Rocky Hammer because he was at the Sash. So, and then I have a 3v1 with a Sash Sheath against Zamazenta. So like 8 turns in a row, I have a 100% win. Like literally 8 turns in a row, I cannot fumble. Like after this turn 1, I cannot lose the game. It is impossible. Like, it is straight up impossible to lose the game. Please tell me. Like, I was about to, like, drop or, like, quit Pokemon after this set. Because game 2 and game 3, I was not allowed to lose. What do you mean how I lost? I just explained how I lost, Nicolo. It was round 6, Mackenzie, yeah. Maxi? Which top 16 are you talking about? I had like no top 16 recently. Was a fun thing to ask. Yeah, like I'm so you can imagine how frustrated I was because like 10 turns in a row I cannot lose. Yeah, like in the end it's your decision, Musti. I appreciate that you are here. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I lost the round and I was like, okay, cool. That's a good question, Future. I feel like since I think and talk about Pokemon a lot during a day, it's easier for me to just remember things. I don't know Pokechats, and that's what's most upsetting. I was not tired. I was like not feeling bad. I just played terrible. And then in round 8, I play against Andrew Ding, and game 1, turn 1, my lead is perfect. I go for a terrible play, turn 1, and also get punished because he leads like Kelly Ice Insane. And I lead Ice Rider Miraidon. And I'm like, okay, there's no way he clicks Fake Out into my Miraidon because I can switch Miraidon into Instant. So what I can do is click Terra Electric, Electro Drift, or Volt Switch. And even if he clicks Fake Out Glacial, it's fine because then I get a move off with my Calyrex. So what do I click? I click the switch, the hard switch, into my Instant, and he Leech Seeds my Miraidon, and I'm like, why do I not click Terra Electric Electro Drift? And I click High Horsepower, he knocks off my Ice Rider, which is fine because his Instant is super low, but it isn't because I miss High Horsepower immediately. And I'm like, fuck! And yeah, it was pretty hard to recover. And in the end, it was just a pure 50 because he has like instant Kelly Ice and he could go for Fake Out Trick Room. So what I did is I switched my Urshifu into my Miraidon and go for my own Trick Room because I'm like, I have to reverse Trick Room. He has to click Trick Room here. And he just clicks Glacial Lance and I set up Trick Room for him and I lose the game. And he sees the Trick Room and he looks at me like, what did you just do? Are you stupid? And I'm like, it was a 50! Did you not see the 50? Because if I just attacked with my Kelly Ice, I would have won the game. And he literally looked at me like, are you stupid for setting up the Trick Room? And it's like Andrew Ding, he's one of the best players. And I'm like, oh my god. So I'm tilted. I'm 100% tilted. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, Shio, I will talk about it later, but I lose game 1, and it was rough. Game 2, I win 4-0 because at that point I did not care at all because I led with Lando, he led with Kelly Ice. I was like, yeah, Glacial Lands me, I don't care. I'm Terra Steel, I could switch, just Glacial Lands me. He clicks Leech Seed turn 1, he clicks Leech Seed turn 2, and I just click Earth Power, no Terra, Earth Power, no Terra, and he like, Leech Seed, and I win 4-0 because my Lando KOs everything. Game 3, so in game 1 and game 2, he brought instant Kelly Ice, Miraidon, Urshifu, and I was like, okay, this time you will lead with Annihilate, because last game I led with instant, and I also did not bring my Miraidon, so Annihilate can just find a Gambit something immediately, or I can get a coaching off. So I decided to lead instant Miraidon this time, and he leads Kelly Ice Annihilate, and I win turn 1. I win turn 1 again. So I win turn 1 again, because I click Terra Electric, Electro Drift into Annihilate, I one-hit KO it, and I fake out Kelly Ice. Why do I fake out Kelly Ice? Why did I not click Knockoff? If I click Knockoff into Kelly Ice, he's in Electro Drift range, he's in Flare Blitz range, he's in range for everything. Why do I click Fake Out? I don't know. Like, it's just, what am I scared of? Leech Seed into Instant, I click U-turn next turn anyways, it doesn't matter like which Mon comes in, I click U-turn, Leech Seed into Miraidon, okay, bro, or the -1 Glacial Lance. Like, what am I afraid of? Also, if he switches into Miraidon or Instant, which were his back Pokemon, I take like knockoff on Miraidon, knocking the AV, knocking the helmet from Instant. Like, why do I fake out? Anyways, I knock out the Annihilate turn 1, and I still win the game. I can just play it safely. He has like Miraidon and Kelly on the board, and I'm like, okay, I E-Drift the Kelly and U-turn the Miraidon, as I said. So he protects Kelly, and he goes for Terra Electric, Electro Drift into my Instant, doing like 70%, and I U-turn to Urshifu, because I brought Urshifu and my Calyrex in the bag. And God knows why I didn't go into my Calyrex, because I could just click E-Drift Glacial. But I switched into Urshifu. That's fine. I can E-Drift the Calyrex for a lot of damage, but I should Surging Strikes Miraidon, because if he switches Calyrex into Instant, I could still lose the game. What do? I click E-Drift Surging into Calyrex. And what does he do? He E-Drifts my Ursh, and his Instant survives E-Drift with like 3%, and I die to Rocky Helmet because E-Drift doesn't pick up, Surging picks up the Instant, and now he has Miraidon Kelly Ice left. I'm still in a winning position, by the way. All I need to do now is to go into Instant, click Fake Out into Miraidon, E-Drift into Kelly Ice. But I don't do it. Instead, I go Kelly Ice. Oh, it's okay, I'm still in a winning position, because there's only 1 turn of Electric Terrain left. I can just click Protect with my Calyrex Ice, switch into Instant. When I have Fake Out High Horsepower, I always win. Even if he KOs Instant there, I Intimidate the Calyrex Ice, and when I have Electro Drift Glacial Lance, Electro Drift High Horsepower, I win the game. What does Michael click? I click E-Drift High Horsepower into Miraidon, and he just clicks E-Drift Glacial, and KOs my Calyrex Ice. And I lose the game. And I'm like, from turn 1, literally from turn 1 to the last turn, I always win the game. Like, I'm not over-exaggerating. I just have a play that always wins me the game. That is also not hard to see. If it's like a crazy like self-target or something, I don't know. Okay. But it's like level 1 plays, and I lose the game, and I'm like, I'm not cut out for this. I'm dropping. Like, I day 2'd, but maybe I should just drop. Because, and that's why I will also use a different team at Worlds, because yes, you heard it right, I could have won every round, But with this team, I play way too bad. Like, I think, and that's why it's like, for those who did not see my tweet, I tweeted, hold on, I tweeted, going from 6-0, 12-1 in games into 6-2 when playing like shit and losing in game 3s, which I can realistically never lose, is incredibly upsetting. This was probably my worst tournament day ever, and even though I made day 2, it feels like the biggest loss because my friends also sucked. Yeah. So... friends catching strays. I mean... they sucked! They both went 5-3! Hi Magic, how you doing? So yeah. After that day 1, I was like, okay, I'm cooked. But then I died! That evening I died and I reincarnated as the best Pokemon player. Okay. I feel like this is a good time to talk about my health and why I died again. For those who are like, it gets a little disgusting again. Maybe, it's not disgusting. Like, it's very embarrassing. First of all, but I feel like I should talk about it because maybe some of you have like help from me. Like maybe some of you have experience or know what I can do to prevent that kind of stuff. Okay, so first of all, I have a problem. Like, there was a person after my round 10, they walked up to me and said, bro, what the fuck, you smell so bad, you have to take a shower immediately. And I'm like, oh, bro, okay. Okay. I didn't know that it was that bad. Hi, Etondo. So, I have one thing, which is like, I don't know what I can do against it. I will go to a doctor because of that as well. But since I feel like it started in Gdansk, yeah. So for about 7 months now, the code is never worse. Like the funny thing is that 3 hours before that, like before I got told that this happened, I showered. So I also used deodorant and stuff during the tournament. But there are 2 things. There are actually 3 things. So I wear the same shirt for like day 1 and day 2, and I should not do that. I know that. I have this fan-made shirt. A very good friend of mine made it for me, and that's why I feel like I love that shirt so much that I wear it on both days. But it's not a good thing because, like, especially after day 1, like wearing that shirt 10 hours, wearing it the next day is not smart. So yeah, I like that is on me. But there's also a second problem. And that is, I feel like some people have that, and it's very embarrassing to talk about it, but I feel like it's also important because, as I said, maybe some of you have it as well and can give me tips, or it's also a good heads up. Like, I love to talk to people, but when I get nervous, I sometimes, not even sometimes, quite often, I start to fart randomly. Not randomly, it's because I get nervous. So something is going on inside my body that I start to fart. You should try to fix your diet. Yeah, 100%. I remember it was I remember someone mentioning that you can get disqualified if you don't shower. You can 100%, Pedro. Yeah, fair enough, Hems, fair enough. But like, that is cost of swallowing air. So you are telling me that I swallow air way too much? But is it because I talk so much, or like, because it's not like I'm to heavy breaths. I'm not. Do you do enough sports? I do. Like I run 3 times a week, at least 5 kilometers. So yeah. Well, Pedro, it's not as easy as that. Because I will not say who of my opponents, but one of my opponents smelled really bad, and actually players tried to call her, not her, but that player out, and the judges went to the person, and apparently nothing changed. But yeah, so that's one thing. And another thing that happened, okay, it's also embarrassing, but like, I feel like I want to be honest. So I in general have very big problems with my stomach. Like, sometimes I only go to the toilet twice a week. For like stomach reasons, not for, you know. Was it when I met you? You mean the player? Yes. Yeah, Mackenzie. Do you breathe? But no, not at all. So I okay. So I have to find the correct words. So basically what happened on the evening from Friday to Saturday is that my it's not the stomach, is it the, how do you say it, wait, or is it stomach, like time to get some fiber into the diet, 100%. So technically what happened is that everything ripped apart and I started bleeding a lot. Intestines, yeah, I think that's correct. So I bleeded a lot and I pretty much passed out that evening again. So I was gone. Like, I was gone for multiple hours because we were like, it's not even funny. It's not something to laugh about. But there's a video of Ibrahim trying to wake me because like I came back, I lied on the bed, and he literally tried everything. He literally shook me. He shouted and he tried everything. And I just didn't wake up. And he also showed the videos to others, and people were literally thinking I died. But I did not die. But I understand why people, after I saw that video myself, because I didn't even notice that he tried to wake me. Yeah, I pretty much passed out. And I was like very sad about it because I'm not a NOLA for like just the tournament. I wanted to go out as well. And Saturday evening, not Saturday evening, but Friday evening, even though I made day 2, I still wanted to go out, but I couldn't. But it is what it is. Hey, next day. Yeah, 100%. I have to work out. I know, but that's like, that's why it's a little embarrassing, but also important to talk about it, you know? But yeah, alrighty. Day 2. So that's why I almost died again, because I actually did? Question mark. Like, I was not feeling terrible. It's just, well, obviously bleeding a lot is not good, but it didn't really hurt, which is super weird. And then I lied down, and then boom, I was just gone, and I don't know, super weird. True, Lily, true. Well, I get my new, you know what? I get my new health insurance in 5 weeks. Because some of you already knew that I had no life insurance for like 2 weeks now. And I was trying to figure things out. But yeah. Look out for yourself. Thank you, thank you. Did you get any medical treatment? Not at all. But I will in like July. Like I tried to contact doctors and asked like, can I like go beforehand and then like pay stuff afterwards, because that's when I get my insurance back, and they said nope, we cannot do it. Yeah, exactly, Tondo. But it is what it is. Well, they kicked me out of my family insurance, and then I said, okay, so can I go here with like no insurance? I get the student insurance in 5 weeks. I have like proof here, this and that, and they said no. I went to a different doctor. They said no, no shot, and like yeah. Yeah, Hauke, I will definitely, I obviously have to do something. Anyways, let's talk about day 2. Fair enough, Etono, fair enough. But I have pretty bad experiences with hospitals. So day 2 started, and I don't know if like my stomach reasons of like my bad stomach and intestines were like the reason why I played these rounds horrible. I don't know. But like round 9, I play against a Japanese player with like CSR Zama, and it was pretty funny because game 1, I crit his 80% Zamazenta with Champo on the board with high horsepower, and he just dies. I win. That was kind of crazy. Game 2, I miss Draco Meteor, he crits body press onto my Ice Rider, he wins. Like, the first 2 games were like really fake. So it all comes down to game 3. It was a very long and drawn out game, but I was able to win 3-0, because 4-0 actually, because I was able to get rid of a Kelly Shadow early on, and then my Incineroar just was able to do a lot. I know, Altondo, like, I will definitely take care of myself, thank you. But so, this round 9 was just the best of 1, technically. Yeah, Lily, technically exactly that. And then in round 10, I play against one of the best players ever, in Emilio Forbes. And so, okay. So, game 1, I win. Easy. Like, game 1, I played pretty well. And also round 9, I played pretty well. Game 2. So you need to understand that I have... My board currently is Fresh Instant, so I have Fake Out up. Fresh Instant, 20% health left. Terra Electric Miraidon, 20% health left. And he only has Zacian 70% and Miraidon 100%, but he can still Terra. So my plays are always fake outing Miraidon and either clicking Volt Switch into Zacian or Electro Drift into Zacian, right? So he has to click Protect with Zacian and no Terra with Miraidon. But I can vote switch off the Zacian. Next turn, I can vote switch Zacian again. Oh, my bad. So I can vote switch Zacian again. He has to click Dazzling Gleam. I still have Calyrex Eyes like 30% in the bag. So then I can play with 50 against Miraidon, Draco, or Electro Drift, right? So my play is always to fake out Miraidon, correct? And never click Draco. Like, I always click the electric move, correct? Does everybody agree? Like, in 9 out of 10 times, this is my play. But that's why I click Fake Out into Zacian and Draco into Miraidon, because he never towers Miraidon. Because if he towers Miraidon, he always loses. I just click Electro Drift or Vote Switch. It doesn't matter which slot I fake out. It's over. I fake out Zacian, Draco the Miraidon. He clicked Terra Fairy, and I lose game 2. And I was like... He also did not protect the Zacian, by the way. So everything I needed to do is to just click the most obvious electric move. So he made a hard read, which worked because I clicked Fake Out Draco, and the only way to win is to click Dazzling Gleam. But that he didn't, like, if you click Dazzling Gleam with Terra Fairy, you should at least protect the Zacian. Because if I decide to vote switch off the Zacian or Electro Drift the Zacian, you lose. But Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam, attack with Zacian, was so crazy, and I lost the game because of that. Game 3. And game 3 was mad funny. Because in game 2, I decided to lead with Miraidon, and I clicked Terra Electric Electro Drift into the Zacian, okay? And he led with Miraidon Zacian, and he just clicked, I don't remember, Vote Switch or Draco with Miraidon. With no Terra. So this time I lead with Miraidon Lando, okay? And he leads with Zacian Miraidon again. And I'm like, okay. Game 2 I clicked Terra Electric Electro Drift into Zacian, and it didn't work because he clicked Protect. And he did not Terra the Miraidon. And in the end I lost because I clicked Draco into Miraidon and he clicked Terra Fairy. So I should Draco the Miraidon this time, right? Because he won't Terra Fairy in turn 1, right? I decided to click Terra Electric Electro Drift into Zacian again. He protected. And his Miraidon clicked Electro Drift into my Landorus. So I knocked out the Miraidon with Earth Power. And I understand it. Because against Miraidon Zacian, why should I not click Terra Steel with my Landorus? I survived Behemoth Blade, Dazzling Gleam, I survived Play Rough, I survived Draco. Like, Terra Steel makes a ton of sense on my Lando. But I didn't do it. So he E-drifted into my Lando. Like, you gotta imagine, we are both on, like, if we lose, we are out of the tournament. And he goes for Electro Drift into Lando in turn 1. And since I didn't Terra, I won the game in turn 1. And that's how Emilio sometimes plays. Emilio goes for crazy reads. But it didn't work, and I won. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Round 11, I play against Teotime Masso. And that set was crazy. It was actually played on a side stream. So we can actually take a look at it right now. So it's out of Teotime's perspective, but so his team, I can show it to you. It's just the French Miraidon Lunala team with Scarf Miraidon, Double Fake Out, Electric Seed Volcarona with Tailwind, and Ability Shield Pelipper, okay? It is the Ability Shield Pelipper, correct. And I was like, okay, my matchup is pretty good into that because all Rillaboom, Volcarona, Incineroar, Lunala all struggle into Terrafire Ice Rider. The only problem for me is the Pelipper, but Pelipper really struggles into Miraidon, right? Yes, Lily. Exactly. So I lead with Kelly Ice Miraidon because it's pretty safe. And he leads with Willa Lunala, and that is perfect because I planned out this turn beforehand because I knew that my Volt Switch does 13% min against the max HP Lunala, so grassy terrain plus leftovers do not recover enough to put him back at Shadow Shield. Okay? And he goes for a pretty safe play in Terra... I don't quite understand why he goes for Terra Fairy, to be honest. I guess he just wants to take less damage from Snarl. But still, also I do not like players who cancel, click. It's so annoying. But he goes for the obvious play. And the funny thing is, I told you how Terrafire Ice Rider completely owns him. I did not click Terrafire in turn 1. But to be fair, who in the world clicks Moongeist Beam Woodhammer into Kelly Ice in this turn? Nobody, right? Right. So he goes for Fake Out, and I just go for Volt Switch, and as you can see, it only does 35 HP, but that's enough so that Shadow Shield does not activate, which is very good for me because now I go to Shifu and he goes for Core Mind, fair enough, and I will do 1.5 speed by the way. So he gets Grassy Terrain and Leftovers Recovery, but as you can see, no Shadow Shield. So now I can just go for Terra, Fire, Glacial Land, Searching Strikes. He has like no switch in. What he can do is like switch Lunala to Incin and then Grassy Glide my Shifu. But that would be fine because then I get rid of the Incin and I go +1 attack because Grassy Glide would go off first. Then 2 Searching Strikes go into the Incin. He survives with 2 Searching Strikes barely, and I get a Glacial Lance off, knocking out both Incin and Rilla, so he doesn't have Fake Out available anymore. And then he has to go Pelly. I go Miraidon. I KO it, and I go for Glacial. Lunala dies, right? So he cannot switch to Incin. He can also not switch to Pelly because Searching Strikes Glacial Lance picks up the Pelly. So what can he do? Nothing, right? So I pretty much win immediately, which is crazy. But this was my game plan all along. So I go Terrafire here just to make sure that in case he doubles the Kelly, I survive it. So I go for Searching Strikes. He doesn't protect, which makes sense. And the Lunala now should be in Glacial Land's range. Problem is why he brought Pelly for the Terrafire Ice Rider. Like, what else does he have against Terrafire Ice Rider? So he knocks out my Ursh. And I just click Glacial. Like, why should I not Glacial here? He goes to Incin, makes sense. And now I go for a Lance de Glace. Lance de Glaceau? I don't know. I'm not French. And I go to +1 attack, which is pretty nice. Because now he has to go to Pelly. And now, chat. What would you risk? So it's a 50-50 here. Do you risk getting crit on Ice Rider with Weather Ball? Or do you risk a Hurricane Confusion into Miraidon into self-hit? Like, what is more unlikely? So he goes for Fake Out Hurricane, or he wants to go for Fake Out Hurricane. So he always has to Fake Out Miraidon, because otherwise Pelly just dies. But what should I click with Calyrex? Should I click Glacial Lance, or should I click Protect? I was like, okay, he will click Hurricane, so I should click Glacial. But the chance that he gets the Confusion is also so low. So I click Protect. And he clicks Hurricane. And he gets the Confusion. And I'm like, okay. What should I do here? Should I switch my Miraidon into Instant? Because then I survive Weather Ball knockoff with my Calyrex maybe. But what if I don't survive? Ah, it's so tricky. It's so... I can also just try to attack because I also have to hit myself now so that he gets back into the game. So... I should have just Glacialed, because Glacial one-hit KOs Pelipper with +1 attack. So, if I just Glacialed, the game ended, by the way. But he made a really good call. But I'm like, okay, I won't hit myself. I won't hit myself, right? Amazing. I love Pokemon. So he goes for Weather Ball into knockoff, KOing my Calyrex, and I lose the game. I survived on 6 HP. Let's flipping go! Oh. And I crit the instant, but the crit did not matter because the instant is always in Electro Drift range. And my play is always now to just click Glacial, switch into my instant, because then I have Fake Out, Rillaboom, Electro Drift, like, you will see what I do. And thank you Stein, for a follow, appreciate it. But like, his Pokemon cannot hit Incineroar at all. I obviously do not protect my Ice Rider because maybe if he goes for Wood Hammer, knockoff both into instant crits both, he can get back into the game. And that's why I just click Glacial with my Ice Rider. Tossing my Ice Rider, because now with instant Miraidon, he does not have Fake Out pressure. I do have Fake Out pressure. And I can just click Fake Out into Rillaboom, Electro Drift into Instant, and then I have Electro Drift Flare Blitz into Rillaboom. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Knockoff being sabotaged in French, it's so funny, yeah. But that's why he surrenders, I win game 1. Even though I got very unlucky. To be fair, he played for his outs. I respect it, because he saw his win con, he went for it. And I was not sure how much Weather Ball would do in the end, but yeah, it was very close. So let's go into game 2. I go for the same leads, and this time he leads with Miraidon, and my Hard-Run engine triggers first. So I probably have the faster Miraidon, right? I don't remember what I clicked turn 1. Was it just Terra Electric Volt Switch into Instant Glacial Lance? That's possible. Or was it just E-Drift Instant Glacial? Did I switch? I don't think I switched. Because I have Ursh Instant in the bank. Maybe I switched to Instant. No, I just stay. I click Terra Electric. I clicked an electric move into instant. I don't remember if it was Volt Switch or Electro Drift Vo. And I just click Glacial. But he goes for a very good play, going Terra Electric himself. Especially because I'm in a pretty bad position because I cannot Terra my Ice Rider anymore. And I take a ton of damage now. I feel like Protect Switch into Instant would have been better. Now that I think about it. Protect, switch into Instant, into Terrifier, Glacial Lance, U-turn, or something like that. But yeah, I break the Shadow Shield, which is nice. And also, Instant is now in range for Electro Drift, guaranteed. So now, what I can do is Volt Switch into Instant plus Glacial Lance. Like, what's stopping me doing that? That's why his play here is to click Moonguy's Beam, but then he cancels and goes for... Like, if I Volt Switch Instant here, I win the game. I clicked Volt Switch Glacial, right? No! If I click Volt Switch onto the Instant Glacial, I always win. But instead, I switch into Instant here. And I think I Volt Switch the Instant. No, I won't switch with Lunala stop because I had to keep Lunala low. Not amazing. But I get Kelly Ice in again, correct? And he knocks my Assault Vest, which is also not amazing. But here I can just... I think I switch my Incin into Miraidon, or I go for U-turn and I just click Glacial Lance. At least that's what I would do. So he switches to Miraidon and goes for Willow? No. Yes? Yes. So here, I think I U-turned, which is amazing because his Instant is -1. Keep that in mind. I U-turn, and I can U-turn into my Miraidon, right? Because my Miraidon is faster than his Miraidon, and I can pretty much claim a knockout now. Yes, he gets the Will-O-Wisp off, but I would say my Candy Ice is not in knockoff range because he's -1 attack. So, what does he do against Draco into Miraidon plus Glacial Lance? Hi, Ty. Wait, are you... I have a feeling who you are. Are you the goat? Are you Tyrese? Here it's just Draco Miraidon Glacial Lance because he switches into Rilla dies. He switches into Lunala dies. You are funny. Okay. So he switches to Rillaboom, which is crazy because, as I said, I always Draco the Miraidon and Glacial. Miraidon dies, and I get a single target Glacial into Rillaboom. So, yeah. And especially since he terrored the Miraidon, he cannot terror the Lunala anymore against Incin. So he has to take a quadruple knockoff, and also doesn't get the damage boost with Moonblast. So here I should always switch Miraidon into Incin and click Glacial Lance, I think. Just so that Lunala stays low. He goes for a good play. I maybe could have also switched Calyrex into Urshifu because I still have my Sash Urshifu as well for the Lunala. All I need to do is to get rid of the Lunala, right? So he U-turns my Incin, goes into his own Incin, and I just have to keep attacking the Lunala. He gets an Intimidate off, which is not amazing, but the Glacial Lance still, even though I'm burnt, does a decent amount. And here I think my best play is to click Knockoff, switch into Urshifu, because if he fake outs my Incin, it's fine. Because I get my Ursh in. Like, I want this Ursh Incin position, and that's why I said I could have switched my Caddy Eyes last turn into Ursh as well. Because then I just click Searching Strikes knockoff, and he has nothing. Like, even if he doubles my Calyrex here, he dies to knockoff, right? So he has to attack Incin, but if he attacks Incin, my Urshifu comes in. So he can do nothing to prevent that, and that's why I switched to Urshifu here, right? Super free. It's super free. Also, thank you, Tyrese, for a follow. Yeah. Now, I'm like, okay, if he doubles my Ursh, his Lunala dies, and I win the game with Incin and Miraidon. If he doubles Incin, I win with Searching Strikes, right? So, the only thing I'm worried about is, like, maybe Protect, and then Parting Shot, and then Rilla is in, and then he has Fake Out Pressure, but even then I win. So it's always just Searching Strikes knockoff into Lunala. He's thinking about clicking Protect, but it doesn't get him anywhere. So I'm clicking Searching Strikes knockoff into Lunala, and he's trying to go for like a Moonblast crit, and then burn my Urshifu. Even then I would be in a decent position. But yeah, he goes for Moonblast, doesn't get a crit. I go for knockoff, knockout with Lunala, and yeah, that's a GG. He connects with Will-O-Wisp, but at this point, my Miraidon, I just have to get in my Miraidon safely, especially because his Rillaboom is also in close combat range. So what I can do now is I want to keep the Intimidate because 2 physical attackers. I want to keep the Fake Out. So what I want to do is to switch into my Ice Rider because my Ice Rider is slower than both, is pretty much useless, right? So I switch my Incin into Ice Rider, toss my Ice Rider, and now, since he clicked Wood Hammer, he is also guaranteed in close combat range, right? Like, there's no shot he can survive a close combat with the HP he has remaining. So what I can do now is go into Miraidon, click Electro Drift into Incin, close combat into Rilla, and win the game. Because he can also knock Grassy Glide my Urshifu since I reset the terrain. And I would say, like, this was a pretty clean set, right? Would you say I made any mistakes? I would say I made literally no mistakes. Was a good matchup as well, but I made no mistakes. So yeah, I gotta check one thing really quick. Okay, I had to answer to one thing. Michael Bo, please do some shower lettering. I don't know about that. What was the reason behind Terra Miraidon game 2? I did not want to drop to his Draco Meteor in turn 1. It would have been fine though, because when he is locked into Draco, he's completely out of, like, if he goes for Fake Out Draco into that slot, I get a Glacial off, right? So he's completely out of position. So the Terra was not super necessary, but I also wanted to get the extra damage on the Incin. But yeah, that was my round 11, so I felt very confident because on that day 2, I played amazing so far. So in all 3 rounds, I made almost no mistakes. So I then got my new opponent for round 12, and it was Gabriel Agadi. And I was like, okay, strong opponent. His team is something I was obviously not familiar with before the tournament, but I saw it. Like I saw what he was using because I was able to play on stream again. So this is my team. I know that I have to move my cam in a little bit, but you know my team already, right? And I also know that my matchup is actually good again. So I have a good feeling about going into top cut after starting off 6-2 into day 2, especially with my play and on day 2. Also, you know, the main character energy, almost dying into winning a tournament is is a side quest. Like I always unlock this quest, die before day 2, and then I have to go for the side quest, you know. So yeah. So his team is pretty interesting. I know what pieces he has. Like Fluttermane with Taunt is annoying because If I can get Trick Room up safely, I win the game with Amoonguss, Amoonguss instant Urshifu and Lando as well. Like, all Pokemon go crazy in Trick Room. But if he leads Fluttermane, yes, I can go for Glacial. But if he taunts me, yes, even if I get a Glacial off afterwards, he can just spam Straw Barrage Collision because I cannot protect and reposition myself easily. And I was really scared of a taunt Fluttermane lead. Because it's also faster than Miraidon. It's Terra Stellar, so he can go for Terra Stellar Moonblast into my Miraidon. And if I go Terra Electric, I have no Terra on my Ice Rider anymore. And I kind of need the Terra on the Ice Rider for Incineroar and Shadow Rider and Koraidon. So my game plan is obviously focused around Terra Fire, Calyrex Ice. Where is my mouse? Oh, over there. So I remove my cam, as you know, and I decided to go with a lead that covers a lot because I just said that he can use Terra Stellar Fluttermane to one-hit KO my Miraidon, right? If he goes for Terra Stellar though, he cannot Terra the Koraidon anymore, and I just spam Glacial Lance like. It's super free to just spam Glacial Lance. So I lead with Miraidon and Ice Rider, and he leads with Koraidon and Shadow Rider. And I feel like in turn 1 I already make a small mistake, because I feel like I should always Electro Drift the Koraidon, because Volt Switch doesn't make the most sense. I thought maybe Volt Switch into Electro Drift KO, Volt Switch into Glacial KOs, but if I click Electro Drift here, I already win the game. Because I would knock out the Koraidon, and then next turn, I can just go for Glacial Electro Drift again. He has to go into Instant, he can only fake out one of the slots, and I win the game. So, yeah, if I click Electro Drift here, I don't have to repeat myself. I don't know why I Volt Switched here. It was bad. Honestly, it was bad. So, I go into Instant. I guess... would Electro Drift Glacial KO even if he doesn't take the recoil now? Maybe it would still KO. So, yeah. Was not amazing. Yeah, I think Electro Drift Glacial surely KO'd. Frustrating to see that. And now, my best play is to click Fake Out Trick Room. I think, because then next turn, I can go for Electro Drift Knockoff, but I switch into Miraidon, but I don't know why I want to... Like, why do I preserve the Ice Rider? Why do I take damage on Miraidon? It doesn't make sense. Like, going into Miraidon here was also pretty bad. Yes, he would get to +1 special attack, but then next turn, he is forced to go into Instant, and he has to fake out my Miraidon, and I can just knock out the Shadow Rider with Flare Blitz. And I just kick Electro Drift. And then he has Wellspring and Instant left. My Miraidon would still survive. So then I have Electro Drift Flare Blitz again, or Electro Drift U-Turn even. And then I get Amoonguss in, and I pretty much, like, the lead was good, my turn 1 was bad, my turn 2 was bad, and he goes for a Straw Barrage, and he gets a crit on my Instant, which is actually very bad. For one reason we will talk about later. And now he goes into Instant. And here, I was like, okay. It's so obvious that I switch Miraidon into Ice Rider. I toss my Ice Rider, and then I have Miraidon. So I knock off Calyrex, toss my Ice Rider, and then I have Miraidon in again against Ogerpon Instant. And against Ogerpon Instant, I can just click Electro Drift into the Instant slot. And I can go for Electro Drift Flare Blitz. He has to Ivy Catcher my instant, KO my instant, but Knockoff does not KO my Miraidon. And then next turn I can just Electro Drift the instant slot again. I have like Amoonguss Miraidon then, so he has to follow me so that his instant survives. But if he clicks follow me, he loses the game to Electro Drift and Rage Powder, because when instant goes for Flare Blitz, knocks himself, like Electro Drift knocks Ogerpon out, and then Helmet Amoonguss knocks instant out. So overall, it was just a 50, because if he fake outs my instant and goes for Astral Barrage, I lose if I switch, because if I switch, then next turn he can just click Protect, slow U-turn with instant, because his instant was slower than my instant. And even if I E-drift with his instant, he survives it. And he can knock off my Miraidon, knock off the Choice Scarf, and then he just Astral Barrages again. So that's why it's, I do think some steps ahead. But that's why it's a 50, and he fake outs my Miraidon, which is a little unfortunate, because I also thought maybe I survived the Astral Barrage. I did not. And the crit on instant was actually quite important, because without the crit, Ivy Cudgel would not KO my instant here. Now that I'm in Ivy Cudgel range, it's pretty hard for me to come back. What I should probably do is, I did not know that my Calyrex was faster than his instant. If I knew that, I actually had a winning line of going Calyrex here. Like, he was min speed instant. Like, how am I supposed to know that? So if I go Calyrex here, I have a winning line of switching instant into Amoonguss, because he has to Ivy Catcher instant and knock off my Calyrex. I can go for high horsepower into the instant, and then I have Amoonguss instant. I get the Intimidate off, so then I have fake out into his instant plus Pollen Puff into my instant, because then I survive the Ivy Catcher, because with Sun up and -1 I survive it, and next turn I can Flare Blitz his instant, because my instant is faster than his instant, and I can click Pollen Puff again, because if he doesn't follow me, my Amoonguss 1v1s the Ogerpon, because I knock out his instant, and if he clicks follow me, I survive with Flare Blitz in the Sun, because he drops to -1 because of the Intimidate. So my better play is to go Calyrex here, if I knew that my Calyrex outspeeds the instant. But I did not know that, which is also fair. And thank you, Ichi Mike, for follow. Here, my best play, if I think that I survive the Ivy Cudgel, my best play is to actually toss my Amoonguss and click U-turn into Ogerpon, because then next turn I have Ice Rider instant, I intimidate him, my Ice Rider should survive a -1 knockoff, I can go for Fake Out into Ogerpon plus Trick Room into High Horsepower Glacial Lens 50-50. So my best play here is to U-turn Ogerpon and click Pollen Puff into my instant, because if I click Protect, I cannot get the position of instant Kelly Ice with Fake Outs and stuff, right? So yeah, the Protect was bad. The Protect was bad. So I had some bad turns, but the crit was also a little unfortunate. So yeah. And now I'm like, okay, can I still win if I maybe get a double protect and then Sun runs out when I get a double protect on Kelly? But no, it's not winnable. I still decided to click like some protects to think about the game too. Because he did not bring Flutter main. So I could go for my Trick Room approach, right? But maybe I just lost game one. So, and recently, every time I lost game one on stream, I changed things up in game two. So maybe he changes things and leads with Flutter main as well. And that's why I hate ads. Well, it would block the one ad, Maxime. I would still get other ads. But yeah, so I lose game 1, which is fine because it was a little unlucky, and also my turn 1 and turn 2 were not optimal. So let's go into game 2 with a slightly different game plan. Let's go with Calyrex and Instant in the lead, and we see that my Intimidate goes off first. And I'm like, okay, if he brought Koraidon and Wellspring in the back again, I could just go for Fake Out Glacial, because I don't want him to fake out my Ice Rider. So yeah, as you can see, I go for Fake Out Glacial, and yeah, I know, chat, I know. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, we see a Straw Barrage and he crits turn 1. And I'm immediately in a bad position because now my Ice Rider dies to a Straw Barrage knockoff. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty bad. My best play is probably to click Protect and U-turn into Miraidon. But I U-turn the instant into Miraidon because that would cover if he protects the Ice Rider. But for me, it was not... Like, he either clicks Substitute, but then I can U-turn to my Miraidon and click Snarl because Snarl goes through Substitute, or he clicks a Straw Barrage and then I can U-turn to Urshifu, and then maybe he is in Aqua Jet range. Even with Sun, he could be in Aqua Jet range, which is also pretty nice. And he has to switch to even survive it. Like, I can go for Aqua Jet Trick Room and then Glacial Lance CC spam, right? So for me, this is Aqua Jet range. But I still decided to go into Miraidon because he probably clicks Knockoff into my Ice Rider. But he U-turns my Miraidon, which is a little unfortunate, but also fine. Because as we can see, he goes into Koraidon. Crit here, crit there, crit everywhere, yeah. And hi, Wobby. So now, in my eyes, he has Wellspring and Koraidon, obviously, in the back. And he goes to Koraidon. I think he always should have clicked Wellspring here and just a Straw Barrage follow me. But now I can always click Trick Room Volt Switch because Collision Course should not knock out my Calyrex. I knew, like, I played against Michael Zhang and the Collision Course did like 48% and I have like 48%. But I know if it's max attack Koraidon Adamant, max damage is 51 and I'm like at 49, so he has to be max attack, which he isn't, because in game 1 I saw that Volt Switch Glacial Lance, it should have KO'd if he had no bulk on Koraidon, so he is just not max attack, so I know that I survive it, so I get my Trick Room off. So I can go for Volt Switch Trick Room, and even better, yeah, Robbie, I'm doing pretty well, thanks for asking. So I can go for Volt Switch Trick Room, and here it's pretty much game, because I get my Ursh in Trick Room. I was also thinking going Instant, but I don't have to go into Instant. And I still do not know the speed interactions between Ice Rider and Instant, by the way. And that's why I was like, okay, I can go for Protect CC. Even if he goes for Fake Out Collision Course into my Urshifu, I should survive it. His Instant is in Glacial Lance range, so I can just go for Glacial Lance CC return after. Like, super free. It's just giga free. Unless he crits like, he has to go for read and crit, but he goes for Fake Out into Ice Rider, and with that I should have the game locked. I get the CC off, and he also collision coursed the Ice Rider. It looked like a hard read, but for me it was just super safe. And now I have 3 turns of Trick Room left, and I can just spam Glacial CC. Like, there's no reason to go for Searching, because my Calyrex is faster than my Ursh. And if he switches to Shadow Rider, I pick it up with Glacial. If he switches to Ogapon, going for CC is obviously better than going for Searching. So I go for Glacial CC here. And he has to go, like, he has to go for Terra Fire, I feel like, and go for U-turn, because his instant was faster, U-turn to Ogapon, but he tosses Calyrex, interestingly enough. And I get the information, as you can see, my reaction was like, his U-turn went first, and this is like my reaction. Take a look at my cam, I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. Because now I also know how fast the instant is. And we see Glacial Lance, boom, and CC, double knockout, and that's a GG, because now we have 2 turns of Trick Room left, and I can just click, I think I just clicked Protect. Actually, my better play would be to protect CC the instant. No, Searching the instant, because he's Terra Fairy. Protect Searching the instant is the best play I can go for, because then I have Fake Out Glacial, and then I have Scarf Miraidon to clean things up. Good evening, Giotas. I clicked just Glacial Searching. So yeah, even if he clicks like Fake Out Collision Course into that slot, I get the knockout with Searching. When I get Instant in, I have Fake Out CC. You get it, right? It's just super free. Good evening, Connor. Congrats on your top 4 finish. And now game 3. And I'm like, okay. So I just led with Ice Rider Instant. So leading Fluttermane doesn't make a ton of sense, because AV Instant, Terra Fire, Ice Rider, in both games I utilized Terra Fire as well, so Fluttermane lead is maybe not the smartest thing he can go for, and especially, it actually helps me that his Instant in Trick Room is the fastest Pokemon, because that means he cannot U-turn into something safely. He actually has no matchup if he leads with Instant Shadow Rider again, or with Koraidon. Like, in most cases, I just win with Instant Kelly lead again, okay? So I see the leads and I'm like, okay, hold on. What can happen here? He could fake out my Calyrex, but then I should have not clicked knockoff into his Calyrex to begin with. I probably should have clicked fake out into his instant first of all, but it doesn't really matter. Like, there's no big, it's not a big problem if I click Trick Room and try to knock off the Shadow Rider. And he decides to go for fake out into my instant, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, because now I can click Glacial Lance knockoff. I was not sure if Glacial Lance Flare Blitz would KO. Yeah, take care, Musti, take care. And good night. So here I was like, okay, does Glacial Lance Flare Blitz KO? We saw how much Glacial Lance always did, and in hindsight, like, I know from Agadi's HP stat, like, Agadi played against Marco Fierro from his side, and Glacial Flare Blitz does like 93 to 111. So going for knockoff is actually better, because I either force a Terra, and if he survives Flare Blitz, I don't want to take a Spooky Plate boosted Straw Barrage, and that's why I click Glacial Lance knockoff here. And he actually goes Terra Normal, which is insane, because if I just click Flare Blitz, I probably would have KO'd, and he loses the game immediately. And he also loses the game immediately because he cannot Terra the Koraidon anymore. and he gets a crit. And now I'm like, okay, please KO, please KO. If I KO, I can win. If I KO, I can win. I don't KO. And I'm like, oh, it's Trash, do not KO, do not KO, do not KO. You need to understand that if he does not crit here, it is impossible for him to win. Because next turn, I can click Glacial Lens, U-turn his Instant. Like, what does he switch into the Glacial Lens? Like, he has to U-turn the Instant because he has to somehow cycle Intimidates. But if he U-turns with Instant, his U-turn goes first. And then, what does he switch into? Glacial Lens plus U-turn. Koraidon dies. Ogerpon gets super low, and then next turn I can just go into my Amoonguss and click Glacial Lens Pollen Puff. Like, what does he do? So if he stays with Instant on my Glacial Lens U-turn play, then I get Amoonguss in, and I can Pollen Puff my Calyrex and just Glacial Lens again. Which means if he stays again with his Pokemon, he takes a lot of damage, doesn't do a lot back. If he switches, he has no switch in. So the thing is, what you need to understand is that the game immediately ends if he doesn't crit. He has no chance of winning. Like, tell me, like, if somebody finds a line where he can win, like, I just spam Glacial Lens. What does he do? What do you mean safer play? Like, there's a chance that it doesn't KO, and then he gets off a spell tech boosted Astral Barrage. And if Astral Barrage is spell tech boosted and he gets the knockoff off, I think my Calyrex would be in range for the next knockoff without an item. But if I knock him off, I always can go for Glacial Lens U-turn the next turn as well. I talked about it. Flare Blitz is not a guaranteed KO. Like, okay, yes, since I got some good rolls with Glacial Lens and knockoff, yes, I should have clicked Flare Blitz. But if I don't KO there with Flare Blitz, first, he doesn't, like, let's say he doesn't Terra, then he can still Terra the Koraidon. Second, let's say he Terras and I don't KO, also bad. Like, with knockoff, I either force a Terra or a KO, right? It's funny that like 2 people said it because like based on the damage rolls I got, Flare Blitz would have been better, yeah. Fair, no worries. But like it's immediately game over if he doesn't get a crit here. It is literally set. He has nothing he can do to win the game. And that's just super frustrating because knowing that you couldn't lose, yeah. It is what it is. I'm still thinking like, okay, I can still win this. Just think about it. And I'm like, okay, Urshifu or Amoonguss? I decide to go into Urshifu because Urshifu exerts a lot of pressure with close combat. And here I go for the autopilot play because it's obvious that he will U-turn with Instant. And I'm like, okay, U-turn with Instant. U-turn into Wellspring probably. So I U-turn the Calyrex to get Amoonguss in. But in hindsight, his play makes a lot of sense. But if I just click CC into Shadow Rider and U-turn into the Instant slot, I'm in a phenomenal position. But I didn't do it. So here I click U-turn and CC, and he also broke my focus sash, which is not amazing. Maybe I could have also doubled, like, in hindsight, if I double that slot, I'm also in an like, my position is so insane because next turn I can just click close combat Spore as well. Like Spore with Kowaidon, close combat with Shadow Rider, or other way around. But now I knock out with Shadow Rider, and that is really bad because he can get instant in. And I already know what he would click if he gets instant in. I need Urshifu alive for Kowaidon, right? So he goes to instant, and I don't have a lot of Trick Room turns left. I'm thinking about clicking Detect and Spore, because he has to fake out Amoonguss and Collision Course the other slot. In hindsight, I think I could have tossed Incineroar here already, because when next turn I have Spore CC, but I was scared of the Ogre Pawn, just because I lost my Sash. And here I was like, okay, you always, you always protect Kowaidon and Flare Blitz Amoonguss, because when Trick Room ends, and then you have like free board with Kowaidon. And I had to go for some crazy plays to get back into the game. In hindsight, I feel like I can still go for Spore CC into Kowaidon. Next turn, as long as he doesn't get a one-turn wake-up, I have... The problem is, if Sun runs out, his Ogre Pawn just wins against instant Urshifu. So my Amoonguss is also not allowed to die. So Spore Switch is like not the worst play. I was a little surprised to not see Protect on Kowaidon, but I also understand it, because he also doesn't want me to Pollen Puff my Urshifu to get my Sash back. And now I'm in a really bad position, because he goes for Collision Course. Well, with good sleep turns, I can still win. Because now I go to my Urshifu, and I cannot knock out the instant here, because if I knock out instant, he gets Wellspring Kowaidon as a board. So I'm not allowed to do that. I have to hope for some sleep turns. His best play is Spyrate to switch instant into Ogre Pawn and Flare Blitz my Amoonguss. I always lose if he does that. I can literally not win if he does that. Even CC Crit doesn't knock out the Kowaidon, and then next time he has Flare Blitz Horn Leech. So the game is over here if he hard switches to Wellspring and clicks Flare Blitz into my Amoonguss. Like, next turn, even if I click Protect, CC Crit doesn't KO. We saw how much, like, CC does like 50, and then next turn he Flare Blitzes Amoonguss again, and Horn Leeches my Urshifu. I can literally not win, because let's say I get a double Protect and knock out Kowaidon with CC, then I have Amoonguss against Instant plus Wellspring, but then he can just click Ivy Cudgel for some turns, and Instant can burn some sleep turns. It already burned one here, so I cannot win unless he fumbles. And I have to go for the fumble, obviously. And he stays, and I'm like, what did you just do? Like, did you just throw the game? And he Flare Blitzes, and I'm like, let's go. I'm back in the game. And CC goes out, does 50, and he gets a one-turn wake up. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? So he U-turns off Urshifu and then gets the position again with Wellspring Kowaidon, where I cannot win. It's impossible. He U-turns the Amoonguss. Why does he U-turn the Amoonguss if he clicks Flare Blitz into it? Can somebody explain me why he U-turns into Amoonguss? Why did he U-turn the Amoonguss? I genuinely want to know why he U-turned the Amoonguss. So now one turn of sun is left, and I think I'm... So I think I should go for a double protect. Well, because if I go for double protect, CC the instant, okay? I actually win the game on a 50. Because if I get the double tech, Sun runs out. Suddenly my Amoonguss survives the Flare Blitz. So then, next turn, I can go for CC Pollen Puff into Ogre-Pon, but I'm not sure if he would do enough damage into my Amoonguss to knock himself out with recoil. So, yeah. So in the end, I decided to say, okay, I'm just playing for a crit. But I feel like double protect is also a play, but I checked one turn of sun left, and I'm like, double protect, crit, double protect, crit. Because even with a double protect, I still have to get some calls right after. Because next turn, he has like Wellspring Koridon on the board. And if he goes for Collision Course, I have to click Rage Powder, Close Combat into Koridon. And if he goes for Flare Blitz into my Amoonguss, I have to go for Close Combat Pollen Puff into the Wellspring. Or Close Combat Koridon and Pollen Puff Wellspring, right? So it's like very, very mind game heavy regardless. Thank you, Zela, for the prime. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And that's why in the end I decided to click Rage Powder. And he decided to click Flare Blitz. And he died to a recoil. Which I already knew was pretty likely. And now it all comes down to... like, I saw the damage from the Close Combat and Glacial Lens in game 1. So... I already knew that I can only win with... Like, I already figured that I would be faster. So, I just have to crit the Close Combat. And even a crit... It would have been very close, but maybe a crit would have been enough. But I did not get the crit. And so I was out of NAIC. And I'm like, I was very sad because my game plan was perfect and he literally had like one chance. Ursh was neutral, yes. And I was like very sad because I feel like I played well. I know that game 1 could have been better. But I also got the information, like with Road Switch Glacial Lens, that he was very bulky. I guess I also get the confirmation on the Electro Drift damage. But yeah, game 1 I played a little bad. But I also lost game 1 to a crit. Like, it was not solely because of a crit, because, as I said, I also could have played it better. But that game 3, seeing that I win the game in turn 2, it's like very sad. Because I could have also crit, right? I could have also crit. He could have also crit the instant. Like, if he crits the instant, I do not care at all. Because everything I needed was Calyrex alive. But yeah, it is what it is. I was able to go 9-3. And, yeah, I even though after starting 6-0, I was also not able to go top 32. So I got 0 championship points, 0 money, nothing. But it is what it is. I will never play Instant Amoonguss again. Like, I will give the team one last ride in this weekend's Victory Road Tour. But every time I play Instant Amoonguss, I feel like Instant Among Us is just like very um very prone to hacks. Like you sometimes you have to rely on sleep turns, and obviously if you have intimidate and the opponent crits, it's also pretty whack, right? With Snarl Miraidon, same thing. You drop the stats, they can crit. So I will play a team that is like I will not play a Riley Factura team, but yeah. So still, I cannot complain. I have like, it's just sad that all 12 rounds I could have won. In the end, of the 3 rounds I lost, I also played bad. Like this game one was bad, and I talked about the round 7 and round 8 where were bad. So yeah. Also, for those who did not see this, so this was my season in the end. I had some really strong finishes. I actually day 2'd 8 out of 9 events. I did not day 2 Stuttgart. The team was also kind of crazy. I was able to get into 5 top cuts. So out of 9 tournaments, I top cut 5, so more than 50%. And I won 2 out of 9, which is also a pretty cool statistic. The teams I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different teams. I would also say it's 7 different teams because the Dortmund team compared with the Lille team, very different. Like King Gambit Terra changed, Primarina Terra changed, Sneasler Terra changed, Dragapult set from like Terra Dragon Outrage changed to Terra Ghost Terra Blast, so the entire team kind of changed, even though it looks the same. Same thing with like Utrecht to NAIC, right? So yeah. Worlds win incoming. I will try my best. I really looked into Zamazenta again, and I really like how it plays. So I'm currently, wait. I meant I I uh, uh, where were we again? Um, yeah, my season. I think my ICs were actually no. uh, um, yeah, chat. So it's pretty funny that in all 3 ICs, I had like I finished 9-3, I finished 8-4, and I finished 8-3 pretty much. So I had 3 solid ICs, not too crazy, nothing too crazy, at least solid. My regionals were overall good, but yeah. I finished 10th. Also pretty funny because I had a tiebreaker on play points with Suika, with Joji Kaeda, because Joji Kaeda also ended up with 1,840 championship points. But since I have more play points, I ended up 10th. Let's go. Also pretty funny that top 3 is all Italian. Yeah, Reshiram is a pretty good one, right? Anyways, I gotta go off for now. Please don't tell this anybody. But usually I keep my VODs up. I will figure it out. Maybe I can edit it out or something. I will not stream day 1 of Victory Road because I will be at my parents' home. But Sunday I will be back, so I might stream day 2. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's stream. I will see you maybe on Sunday. Also, new video on Sunday, hopefully, against a really good player. We will see. No promises there. Also, you can hear my voice is going to die. Anyways, thanks so much for the support, and I will rate you too. Is somebody doing some VGC action? I mean, 9 p.m. sounds like VGC action. So is Alex doing VGC? I don't know. I have like 5 minutes of ads. I also see that the new video is just the leaked thread. Imagine. Also, which team should I use for the new I Played Against video? Which team do you really want to see? Should I use the Rios team with the Covered Cloak Pond and the Volcarona? I think this would be cool, and since I tried it as well. And yeah, Alex is streaming, so I will rate you to Alex, Poker Alex, VGC. Please use the Chichio team. I think the Chichio team is so bad. Did you see how it got farmed by the Rios team? My team would have also farmed it. Like, it would have been so easy. But yeah, anyways, I will see you next time, and yeah. I use the Chichio team. It's so good. Okay, I will see. We will see what I will use. I will see you then. Bye bye.